Hey, hello guys. This is Valin Cophy, and we're going to be discussing about the presentation I made about project managers in construction. Okay, so let's get to it. Go. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the trials and the tribulations of a construction project manager in construction. So we got to talk about what is a construction project manager in the beginning. A, a construction project manager is someone that oversees the planning and the delivery of a construction project. And usually they ensure that the work is completed on time within a budget. They organize the logistics of things. They delegate the work and they keep tracks of the spending. They watch over the subcontractors and they just make sure their site is running. And they're ahead of the superintendent. So basically, this is a historical background of construction project managers. They were first developed because the societies have been developing over time, and companies nowadays are in need of rebuilding them, different societies, to sustain their society and people managing those projects. The origin of construction project management began in earlier civilizations due to construction projects needing a structure and someone to lead the projects. As different societies developed, the things that a construction project manager needed to do changed. So therefore, now construction project managers had to overrun things. They have to now look contact people. They have to join bids. They have to work a spontaneous amount of hours now and just different things now that they have to go through historically. So now construction project managers started to need to do more things, which are some of the things that I was discussing. Usually when it comes to like the financial wise and building wise, due to the development of societies and civilizations. So this is basically an overview of what some of the issues are that project managers face. So time management. It is one of the biggest challenges that result in project failures in construction. When a deadline is missed, it has a snowball effect on the project, leading to more challenges down the line. Yeah, so usually when it comes to time management, the construction project manager should be on top of things, making sure everything is ran at a specific time. And that's a huge issue that a lot of construction project managers face today. Um, Missed deadlines that can lead to contractors cutting the corner to catch up, resulting in defective designs, an increase in on-site accidents, loss of revenue. Yeah, cutting corners is a quick fix, but will have a knockoff effect on the project as the contractor tries to fix defects to avoid the risk of contractual penalties, resulting in delays and increased costs. Yeah, so one of the biggest issues is deadlines. If a project manager doesn't have their subcontractors keeping up with everything at a certain specific time, making sure everything is done correctly, that may cause an issue, resulting in the delay, and that's going to cause an issue with the revenue. There can be accidents now because of that, because they have to work faster. So now they're not working like how they're supposed to be. They're going to be cutting corners. It's going to put everybody in a riskier position, ultimately leading in a loss of revenue, which is the basic part in the necessity of a project revenue. Um, the budget, the budget's crucial. Poor judgment or miscalculation can result in the collapse of a project. It is the construction project manager's responsibility to make it work. Part of making the budget work is setting reasonable expectations for any cost and overrunning and adjusting the budget. So the budget is very important. A project manager has to have a good estimating team because if the budget is overran, that's ultimately going to lead in the company losing profit. And if a company's losing profit, all that blame is going to shift towards the project manager because he is overseeing that project, making sure the estimators are doing their job, making sure the superintendent is doing their job with the subcontractors and everything. So that's another issue that they face. And unclear objectives. If the objective is not clear with the stakeholder or the owner on what they want on the design and everything like that, or with the subcontractor, the objective, then the project is going to fall apart. Because if nobody knows what who's doing, then how can they get the job done? They possibly can't. So that needs to be addressed from the get-go of every single thing. So the simple resolution to some of these problems is having a good budget is by making sure your estimator is doing what he's supposed to do. Keeping touch with the estimator, making sure that the prices are good, trying to get the estimator to contact the right subcontractors to do the work at a reasonable price, at the cheapest price they could find, but also at the same time it provides good service to them. Making sure um, you have the right deadline because time is money in construction. Consistently. If you keep bypassing the deadlines, you're just losing money because that's more labor required, more materials required, more hours put in to pay the workers. So it's definitely good to have a good budget. Um, and keeping track of everything that's done efficiently to make sure your team is not behind. Making sure your team can complete the work and do what they have to do at a reasonable time is another good solution to some of these problems. Because if the team is struggling to keep up with work, um, that's going to override the deadline. And if they're overriding the deadline, that's just taking money out the whole everybody's pocket, and then like I said, that blame is going to be shifted towards the project manager. So making sure your team's doing what they're supposed to be doing at a reasonable time is definitely a good thing. And making sure your team is good is going to provide quality service due to them wanting to actually do the work now. Because even now today, there's labor shortages now because nobody wants to work. So if you don't have a good project manager, you're not really going to have a good team because your team's not going to want to work for them. Um, and another resolution to one of these problems is, especially when there's an unclear objective, is discussing with the stakeholder or the company on what they need, because usually the stakeholder or the company, whether it's residential or commercial, they're going to want from the get-go exactly. They're going to explain what they want exactly for the project. And if they don't explain what they want exactly, then that needs to be communicated. That needs to be addressed at the beginning, what they want for the house, how big it is, how do they want this, the plans, good communication with the architect. That needs to be discussed as well. Um, Discussion with the subcontractor, they need to be discussed as well. The prices, everything. That way, nothing falls apart. Making sure everything is addressed in the beginning, making sure you have the right communication skills with your team, with the superintendent, making sure the subcontractors are there, contacting them, letting them know, are they going to be there? All of that can be resolutions to the problems that construction project managers face. Because then again, if they're over the superintendent and the superintendent isn't doing his job by contacting the subcontractor, making sure everything's fine, then all that shift is going to be blamed on the project manager because he's overrunning everybody below them, the estimator and everyone else behind them. So if those issues can be addressed, then that problem can be taken care of. So in conclusion, although project managers go through a lot, there can be things done by the company and by the owner to prevent those troubles given to project managers. Some of those steps that companies can do and the owners can do is by community the by well the owner, for example, the owner of the company that the project managers are working for, or the company, they can hire quality people. They can make sure that they have everything done efficiently. Hire good estimators that can do the job, get the job done. That way, the project manager doesn't have to rely too much on himself for giving the pricing and everything like that. Making sure they hire good superintendents to making sure that the sites are taken care of while the project manager's contacting people, overrunning things, speaking to the owner, getting in touch with the person, the stakeholder, getting in touch with the superintendent, getting in touch with the subcontractor, just making sure everything's done correctly. As long as the company can provide a good service, a good setup for the project manager can be set up for success. But if not, that's going to be a terrible job for the project manager because the project manager needs a team because ultimately in construction, it's not one man, it's a duty of people doing those jobs. So that's what they need to run a successful project manager. That's what construction project managers need nowadays because nowadays they have to run through a lot of different things because, like I said, as a society, the trials and the tribulations in construction projects are a lot, so as long as the construction project manager has a team, has people to communicate with, has people to help him set himself up or her for success, then the project can be done good and there won't be no issues for the construction project manager. Thank you. And that's the end. I'm glad for letting me have this presentation. Thank you again, Professor, for giving me this opportunity. I hope you guys enjoy.